What it is, homies, make flipper pants all up in this hizzy. This is my Mercury Villager estate. And as you can see, there's some battle damage. For today's video, I'm going to be replacing this window, so that there's actually a window there after I'm done. I got really lucky. There was a local glass supplier that had a spare rear window on the correct side for my car with the correct tinting. So I grabbed that, and today I'm going to be taking it and putting it there. That's the video.
Well, here we are again, a video of me fixing something. Of course, this time it's not as inconsequential as an Xbox. In fact, it's much more consequential. A big part of starting the Pants of All Trades series, that's the name of the series, by the way, was to encourage the mindset of building and fixing things yourself. I feel like it's an important mindset to foster, especially for young men. Now, as with any repair job, the first step was getting everything ready to start the actual process of replacing the window. In this instance, that means taking apart the interior trim of the car in order to expose the mounting screws for the window. According to the workshop manual I have for the car, I had to remove the seatbelt first. I tried to use my impact driver, but that didn't work, so instead I used a socket wrench and my brute strength to remove the torque spit screw holding it in place. Of course, it would have been nice if I got a better shot of it. Once that was done, I could now get started removing the plastic wall panel. I had to start by removing the plastic knobs that held it in place, which I think required a special tool to remove, and I didn't have it.
These are screws.
So I broke them off.
How am I supposed to twist them off?
Oops. And one of the things I ended up realizing is that since this panel was made of plastic, I didn't actually need to remove it completely, which means I didn't have to remove the knobs nor the seatbelt. Sometimes the manuals are wrong. Anyway, I managed to get access to the column panel, which was hiding the window's mounting screws. So with that out of the way, I could finally get started replacing the glass.
I cleaned up what I can with the isopropyl alcohol. I will come back with frickin' goo gone.
Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, you're probably wondering what happened in the first place. How did this truly horrible situation come to pass? Well, let me paint you a picture. It was a dark, foggy night. I was home, in the parking lot of my apartment. My safe place. Or so I thought. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I was accosted by a creature of the night. A monster so foul, I don't even want to speak its name. But I must, in order for you to understand the magnitude of horror I faced when I faced this faceless monster. So for the sake of this video, I shall grant you the name of this beast. A shared electric motor scooter. No! It had snuck up behind me and smashed my window. There was no one on it. It acted on its own. I definitely didn't back into it while the window panel was open, shattering the glass. It was definitely a possessed monster scooter. It certainly wasn't my fault. I do want to take some time to talk about how lucky I was. I managed to find a glass supplier in my area that just so happened to have the correct window for my dinosaur of a car. Not only did they have that, the mounting hardware, which you're seeing me remove right now, was already installed on the new panel. That means I didn't have to dig into the old mounting hardware, deal with the broken glass, remove the original adhesive, and I also didn't have to buy new adhesive. It was pretty great. I felt so relieved when I realized I did not have to do all of that. Of course, me being me, I did not have the right-sized socket to remove the nuts holding the old hardware in place. Alrighty, back from the store with longer sockets. It took me more tries than I cared to admit. Let's just say I got my steps in walking back and forth between my parents' house and the local hardware store. Of course, I found the right one when I remembered that despite the fact that it was an American branded car, it was actually made by a Japanese company. That's right, the Mercury Villager is also a Nissan Quest. And therefore, the bolts were in metric instead of imperial. Yay!
I should have known. I should have known it would be metric.
At least I eventually found the right one. And with the old hardware off, getting the new window installed was easy as pie. Actually, way easier. Pie is really hard to get right. We should stop saying easy as pie. This was as easy as chocolate chip frozen waffles. In fact, if I had the right tools from the get-go, this probably would have only taken me about an hour to do, instead of the 3.5 it ended up taking me. And of course, I still managed to make things even harder on myself. Earlier, I had to remove the mounting hardware on the arm that opens and closes the window because there was still some broken glass trapped in it. Somehow, I lost that screw. Is this one working? Screw, dude. I have no idea where it ended up. And not only that, I took the screw from the other window in order to try and find a screw at the hardware store that was the right size. And I managed to lose that one as well. What is wrong with me?
What did I do to deserve this? No, I'm gonna go ahead and focus on other things now.
Thankfully, the internet was once again my savior. Someone on eBay was selling the exact screws I needed, so I ordered a pair. When I took off the second screw, I noticed a white residue substance thingy on the window. I assumed that this was leftover adhesive of some sort that had deteriorated, so I bought some outdoor rated double-sided tape and squished it to the mounting hardware.
You did it.
Kind of.
That way, when I drove the screw into the arm, it would pinch down on the adhesive, making a very secure fit. I did have a torque spec for these screws. It was 40 pounds. I do not have a torque wrench though, so I just used my impact driver and...
That was so loud. Ah.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's nice.
they haven't fallen off so far, so
Are you?
pretty sure I'm good.
How you?
Almost. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. Car is officially fixed. Alrighty. So, it's been a couple of months since I reinstalled the new glass and the new screws, and everything seems to be
just fine. They have not come loose or fallen off or given me any issue. So, yeah, it's been a gigantic success. It's a little cloudy today, but that's all right. Right now I am filling up the car and then going grocery shopping. And yeah, it's been great. There were a couple of days where I had to not have the screws installed, which was pretty funny because at speed, the rear windows would just flap open and close because these windows open out, you know, the rear windows open out instead of down, which is odd. I think that was a lot more common in the early 2000s and late 90s when this car was manufactured. I am not surprised that they went away, let's just say that. As far as whether or not it was worth doing myself, I certainly think it was. The insurance wasn't going to cover it, but even if they did, my insurance rates would have likely gone up. And if they had done it as well, it would have taken way longer to get done. So taking the time to do it myself and figuring it out was certainly worth it. Even though it did take me a lot longer than I thought it would, it still only took about a day to do. It was great. All right, well, I am where I need to be. I will see you guys in the next video, which is gonna be extra musical. Sitting at red light, waiting for it to change, but hopefully not too quickly, cause I'm singing right now. Oh boy, it's changed now, I gotta focus on driving, please go!